Hi there, it's Tom B again from Old Toms Wormery. I thought perhaps you'd like to see a harvest of the Tom B Old Toms Wormery continuous flow through worm bin. What I've got here is the 2x2. This is an earlier version of the 2x2. You'll be able to tell it's an earlier version because the base has become discolored. That's because I was using the cheaper wood from the big box store. I've switched to the expensive decking redwood for both the clarity, lack of knots, and beauty, and strength, and durability. They use actually redwood instead of the white stuff that is a little too young, shall we say. So, this is my 2x2. It still works fine even with the early version. Let's pop the lid open. We'll see that I use a worm blanket. Wish my lighting was better. Under the worm blanket, there's the bed, which should be crawling with worms, but they were freshly fed and freshly had bedding added. My bedding at the moment is cardboard, shredded cardboard, newspaper. I'm switching to a compost made of this material with some added supplements of spent grains, coffee, minerals, eggshell, and sometimes even some frass to give the insect control. You can see that in this case it was fed some lettuce. Oh, there's one of the puppies, a couple of my kids. Lettuce is a very cool food. Doesn't heat up very badly. Recently I put in pineapple. The worms do love pineapple, but it does overheat. When your bed overheats and all your worms disappear, in your typical small plastic tote or stacking bin, overheating can be quite the crisis because the worms are killed. In the large CFT like this, size matters. When it overheats on the surface, the worms dive down into the bed and find a nice cool layer to wait out the overheating. So they'll be back. So now we've seen the top. Let's have a look down below. From underneath. Okay, from underneath you can see the pipes. At this point in time I was using plastic PVC pipes, but I've switched to EMT galvanized steel pipes since then. I found that the PVC tends to bend. It doesn't pop out and it doesn't appear to be a problem, but I don't like it. I want the best bin I can make, and so it now has EMT pipes. So we will be raking between those pipes to make the compost drop out, the vermicompost. We will be raking into a mortar tray. It's just very convenient. I'm kneeling on a blanket. Again, it's very convenient because my bin is sitting on a couple of bricks on dirt. The bricks help keep the moisture out of the legs, and so they don't have a habit of rotting the way wood contacting dirt would have a risk. So you see the tools that I have out, all the work, pretty much all the work, is done with this 3-tined hand rake. If you look online, they talk about using a 4-tined long rake, and I find a long-handled rake is just way more work than it's worth. I find that the short-handled 3-tine grabs the right number of spaces. It's easier to pull, it's easier to give a twist to get above the bar. It's just a better tool for this project. But just in case, I also own a hefty one puller. This one, if anything gets stuck, like say it dried in place, this one chisels it right through. And in a worst case scenario, we can use a hefty screwdriver to leverage out anything that's really stuck. I don't think I'll need either of these two tools. I think we'll be going with just the 3-tine, which, by the way, I think I mentioned this in assembly, I call it the ding-pa. If you look up Dingpa, D-I-N-G-P-A, online, you'll find it's an old samurai weapon. And I find that I'm attacking these worm bins, and it amuses me to say that. So, let's do a harvest. I hope your view is okay. I'll try to be as photogenic as possible. Let's rake down that vermicompost. Let's call that good enough for now. I noticed as I was finishing those last couple of pulls that I was starting to get worms. That's not a problem. We'll just put them back in the top. Let's move the camera to give you a better view as we put this harvest into a bucket. Just your typical 5-gallon bucket. So you see, I have harvested just about a 5-gallon bucket on that real quick little pull. I didn't try to be very complete. I didn't want to extend this. 5 gallons is fairly frequent. Actually, it's pretty common. Every week. I did this same 5 gallons last week. A little more than 5 gallons. Anyways, this is average. So just the 2x2 gives you 5 gallons a week. Similarly, the 6-foot bin will give you 15 gallons a week. And then it goes as fast as the material you put in. Since I add fresh material in cardboard, it runs a little slower. If I were to switch to using nicely pre-digested compost, it gets quicker and your production goes up. It's a good bin. I'm really happy with these, and I hope you will be too. This is Tom B. Thanks for watching. Again, sorry for the photography, and I'll talk to you soon.